Whether you're just about to launch or already have a blog, website, or online business, you've probably wondered how to legally protect it. In this video, we will cover the 3 essential legal templates you need in order to protect your blog, website, or online business, and things like what needs to be in them and the consequences for not having them. Hi, I'm Erica Kohlberg. I'm a lawyer and the founder of Plug-in Law, where we make legal simple. And just quickly, if you do have a blog, website, or online business, I created a free legal guide that you can download. I'll leave the link in the description below so you can get that and legally protect your business. Diving right in, the 3 essential legal documents that you need for your website are a privacy policy, which must comply with various laws and regulations, terms and conditions, and a disclaimer, which will also include your affiliate disclosures. All 3 of these are sometimes called website policies or legal pages. This applies whether you have a blog, an online business, or any other website. To put simply, if you have a website available to the public, you need these 3 policies on your website. Typically, this is done as 3 separate pages that are hyperlinked in the footer of your website. Ideally, you want to have these up on your website before you launch to avoid any issues and to just legally protect yourself from any fines or potential disputes or lawsuits. If you already have a website, then you'll just want to get these up as soon as you possibly can. So let's talk more specifically about each of these documents. Let's start with a privacy policy, which I'm sure you've heard of. A privacy policy is not only essential for your website, it's required by law. That means you could be breaking the law by not having a privacy policy on your website. Essentially, your website visitors need and have the right to know how their information is being collected and used, and what rights they have with respect to how their information is used and protected. So having a privacy policy is also just good business practice. The best way to show your visitors and customers that you take their privacy seriously is to have a thorough privacy policy on your website that complies with all of these various laws and regulations. And realistically, privacy laws are only going in one direction. They're going to continue to get stricter, be enforced more frequently, and there will be new privacy laws enacted going forward. So this is really critical to have on your website. And the key points to understand about a privacy policy are that 1, it's legally required, 2, it can come with hefty fines if you don't have one, 3, it must comply with various laws and regulations, including the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, and the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA. Okay, so now that you know that, what exactly needs to be in your privacy policy so that it complies with these laws and regulations? The free legal guide that you can download will go more into detail, but some of the things that you have to make sure are in your privacy policy include a list of the data you collect, how you collect it, and why you collect it, the categories of third parties that you share your information with, information about tracking technologies that you use, how you retain data, how a visitor can request changes or deletion of information, how you protect personal information, and how to contact you when there are any questions about the privacy policy. Next, let's talk about terms and conditions. These are sometimes called terms of use. They are the rules of your website and dictate how your website can and can't be used, among other things. You can think of them as the master rules. The terms and conditions incorporate the privacy policy and disclaimer so that they all form one agreement that every user who visits your website or purchases a product from your website has to consent to. Terms and conditions cover important points like what your refund or exchange policy is for any products you sell, including physical products or online content or courses, also how your website can be used, how legal disputes arising out of use of your website or any of the products you offer will be resolved, what your intellectual property rights are, what would constitute copyright infringement. It also covers things like how your liability is limited, which is obviously key to minimizing your liability in the event of a legal dispute or lawsuit. Without comprehensive terms and conditions on your website, you're really just putting yourself at risk by opening yourself up to this liability. Next, let's talk about the third essential legal page you need for your website, which is a disclaimer. A disclaimer has many purposes, but some of the key ones I want to highlight are that it tells visitors of your website what you are and are not responsible for. It limits your liability, including with regard to content you publish on your website, and it helps ensure that you're in compliance with Federal Trade Commission (FTC) regulations. It also accomplishes things like disclaiming liability, which is saying you're not responsible, for instance, for any information found through third-party links contained on your website. For blogs in particular, or any website with informational content, it's important to include a disclaimer to limit your liability for when someone relies on information contained on your website. If, for example, someone relies on a post on your blog and suffers harm or injury, they could try to take legal action against you. A well-drafted disclaimer limits your liability in those worst-case scenarios. Without a disclaimer, besides opening yourself up to liability, you could also be found in violation of the FTC Act and be forced to give up any money you received in connection with your violation of the FTC Act, which we'll cover in a future video. So I'm sure the next question you have is where you actually get these legal pages. And no, I don't recommend trying to create these yourself or taking the DIY approach, because there are just too many loopholes, and I also would be cautious about the free ones you find online, since those aren't drafted by lawyers and you really have no idea if they're comprehensive. If you're looking for more guidance, then the free legal guide I offer is going to be a great place to start. We also have a legal bundle that includes all 3 of these legal documents for you, lawyer approved. It's really easy and just takes a few minutes to get up onto your website. So I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in accessing the legal bundle, so you can just check this off your list and not have to spend any more time worrying about it. If this video was helpful, please hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you next in this video where I talk about what a trademark is.